A captain always wants to keep his boat safe, but you can't ship things around the world while ported. Here's a compilation of some of the most large-scale ship collisions of all time. Not what you particularly want to see while you're ice skating. Did you know that frozen water can have waves? Well, you do now.
Wow.
What a beautiful looking boat. Actually, forget I said anything. Plenty of portholes available to watch the ensuing disaster. Wouldn't you love to be a captain pulling into this port? No, the answer is no. Ships don't need to be far out at sea in order to sink. You get the impression that somebody was probably fired for this. Oh, make sure you watch out for the rocks. I'm not sure what's happening here, but I do know it wasn't supposed to. So, you weren't using that mooring for anything, right? That crunching, cracking sound is always a good sign that the boat trip is over. This is what happens when the entire bow of your ship freezes.
Welcome! Happy New Year!
This is a much bigger version of storming out of the office shouting, "I quit." This tug should really pick fights with someone its own size. Here's why you shouldn't captain a ship while looking at your phone. Hey buddy, I'm sailing here. And suddenly the ship wasn't sinking anymore. There's nothing more embarrassing than when an important part of your boat goes limp. The launch of this boat was almost its final voyage. Low bridges and loads of cargo are never a good combination. When the water level is higher than usual, things can get dangerous. This is the kind of immersive experience you could do without, especially on a cruise.
All we know right now is that something burst, a pipe or something in one of the rooms, and so much water came in that They opened it and all this came out, and then they were trying to hold back the door. And then...
Oh, so you were using that crane then? My bad. Looks like there's been some kind of beef back at Japanese Coast Guard HQ. When your throttles are stuck at full speed ahead, I suppose you just gotta go with it. As if the weather and the rough seas weren't bad enough. The collision between a Chinese fishing boat and a Japanese Coast Guard vessel near the disputed Senkaku Islands, which led to a lot of political tension. Just because you've passed under the bridge, it doesn't mean you've cleared it. Wait a minute, isn't that a rock? And should we be avoiding it? If you ever doubt the power of water, just remember that this Russian tanker was torn in half by it. Looks like there's gonna be some pretty damp parcels arriving on your doorstep pretty soon. If you were lining up to get on this ferry, wouldn't you just say no thanks and run away as quickly as possible? The bad news? We've been hit by another boat. The really bad news? It destroyed all the lifeboats. Ah, a rolling sea, joined by some soon-to-be rolling containers. Two boats should not be this close, no matter how they feel about each other. Is it just me, or do you detect a slight oil leak? All of this massive open sea, and somehow these two giant boats collide? How could this happen? Well, we've all had bad days at work, I suppose. This is what it was like to be inside Hurricane Milton from the bridge of a ship. This may require more than one guy swinging from a helicopter. Aren't you glad we booked a cruise for our honeymoon, darling? Don't travel on this boat. The universe hates it. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. Oh, fine. Go home, ship. You're drunk. It was finally freed from this river after a nail-biting 12 hours. You know what this boat needs right now? Loads of water on board. David and Goliath, the marine version. Both sides are filming, so clearly both sides think it was the other side's fault. He was out sick the day they taught the technique for not sailing into rock walls. Yes, it's a crash, but the wind seems to be lining them all up in an orderly fashion. I'm not sure what's worse, the situation or the camera work. It's a good thing it wasn't a boat full of Ferraris. The 0.001% crashing into the 1%. Disaster narrowly averted by a very skilled captain. Looks like this ship is docking a few hundred years too late. Planning to capsize? Save time by doing it right after launch. Just a nice, relaxing day out on the river, narrowly avoiding decapitation. A lucky last-minute escape for the crew of this unfortunate cargo ship. If you had the option to escape from Alcatraz on this thing, then you'd probably choose to stay safely in prison. Split in two like a hot knife through butter. When it comes to bridges, one size ferry definitely doesn't fit all. Aw, look, they're having fun? Just a tiny little love tap, really, isn't it? It's like it's decided to take a big old bite out of it. This oil spill is gonna take a little more than a few pieces of kitchen towel to clean up. Yeah, given the option, I think I'd choose to travel by air, too. Help the good ship Akimbo continue its voyage across the 7 seas of YouTube by clicking subscribe.